Okay. Today, for the Purple Door podcast, inside the Purple Door podcast, I am sitting here with, and I'm going to let her say her name, and then and I think she's going to actually just say your first name. You necessarily do not have to say your last name, that would be up to you. But I want you to tell me your name and your age, and then I'm going to ask you a couple of questions about why you're here today, why you're talking to me today, why do you think this is important for you to be recorded today. So please tell me your name.
My name is Caitlin Fragosa. I go by Caitie. I'm 33 years old, and I have a beautiful 4-year-old little girl.
Okay, okay. Well, of course, we met a few weeks ago through phone call conversation, and there's a case that's going on right now about you in a domestic violence situation. And a lot of times with domestic violence, we look at these cases and we get like, what made a person go to it? What happened at the beginning of that relationship? What made him be a part of your life? And just tell me a little bit about that relationship.
Um, I met him through a mutual friend. I was just looking to date, and he was a fireman for the city of Greensboro. And every girl likes a man in uniform. So
Yeah.
I met him, and we really hit it off pretty rapidly. We hung out that night. We hung out the next day, and everything seemed really good. We seemed like a good match,
Okay.
and we were together, and I got pregnant, and I had my surprise baby. But we got pregnant, and then we talked, and we decided that marriage would be like the best choice. Everything seemed to be pretty good between us. So we got married about 3 months after meeting.
Oh wow.
So
Okay.
it
Okay.
was a pretty rapid marriage. Like
Nice
me
man.
too. Yes, very nice man, very intelligent, funny, smart, um, you know, very jovial.
Okay.
Sammy.
Okay.
Yeah, he was very nice and just really personable.
No red flags during this time.
No, there weren't any red flags. I mean, we wanted to be together pretty constantly. So that was really nice, to find
Okay.
what I thought was my person at that
Okay.
time.
All right. So let's just say you said you got pregnant during that time, and that's actually helped start the marriage
The
part.
process of marriage, yes.
Because both of you guys, hey, we want to bring a family in, we want to be family, and now you're pregnant and you're getting ready to have this family. When did it start? When did the red flags start happening?
So, um, I mean, when we got married, there was a lot of pressure, like, because, it's marriage, and then we both kind of, changed jobs in a way. He went to a busier firehouse. I have a pretty physically demanding job, so I changed jobs and, became a director of a rehab. And so, things were tough. I mean,
Okay.
as you imagine they would be, because life was coming at us pretty rapidly.
Right.
I lived in an apartment, and it was going to be a little too small for me, him, and a baby. So we decided to buy a house. And of course, there's some
Homeowners.
tension in that time, just because there was a lot going on.
Mm-hmm.
So the red flags, it wasn't like one red flag, it was one big glaring sign.
Okay.
When I was 9 months pregnant, our very first domestic violence incident occurred.
Oh wow. 9 months pregnancy.
I was 9 months pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
It occurred uh, less than 36 hours before my daughter was born. So I
Could
was.
you tell us a little bit about that then? You said it wasn't no red flags, but all of a sudden, 36 hours before your delivery, which is, I think you mentioned to me anyway, that it was a planned
It
delivery.
was.
And so tell me, like, tell everybody, like, what happened?
So my daughter was going to be very small. She was going to be very petite when she was born. That was the risk, and the doctors were really observing me, and that was stressful because I was concerned about my child. And so they had planned to induce me. Um, we, as tension does, we kind of argued verbally about, like, about different things. And I told him, like, I need support. This is already hard. I'm going to need support in the delivery room. And if you're going to be unsupportive, like, I just need support in there.
Why would you think he would be unsupportive when everything is going so well? Tell me.
Because as tension built,
When you say tension, that's a big word.
it is. Moving into a house and
Okay.
everything happened
Stress.
really rapidly.
Okay.
We moved into our house less than a month before we had a baby. So, we bought a house, and so that was a lot.
Yes, I can understand now. I see the tension. Okay.
Yeah, so like tension was there. We were trying to unpack.
It was just nothing between you and him, but there's more so tension of
of just
what was
stress
going
of life.
on.
Yeah,
Exactly.
stress of life. But as I was, so there wasn't anything that seemed to spur him attacking me the way he did. I decided I would take a bath, and I was laying in the bathtub with my pregnant belly, and he came in and grabbed me by the throat and held me underwater.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
He came in
He came into the bathroom
while you were in the tub.
I was in the tub.
Were you fussing and fighting, or fussing and fussing?
No, we were not.
Okay.
This was like,
All right.
very jarring, because this was
Wow.
not anything that.
You didn't
I was
expect
not expecting it
anything.
at all. It was very, very scary.
Okay, I'm sure. Okay. Please continue. I'm sorry. I
That's
just
okay.
wanted to understand. Was y'all fussing in the bathroom? You was in the tub, and you and him was fussing back and forth. I had to understand. He just walked in the
He
bathroom.
just came in and grabbed me by the throat, and he held me underwater. I don't know how long I was underwater, but he held me under enough that I was about to have to breathe in the water. I don't know how long that takes, and he let me up. He let go, and I came up out of water.
Feel like you were drowning?
Yes, yes, I was on the verge of drowning. Like, absolutely. Sorry.
It's okay.
As I sat there, I let the water out of the tub as he's just yelling at me, and I can't really recall all that he said, because I sat there just like begging God that me and my daughter would make out of this situation okay. I do remember him saying, "You better be glad that you let you drain the water out." I do remember that. And time passed by. I remember I got cold because I was in the tub, with no water in it, and he walked out, and when he did, I panicked because of the mind frame that he would have been in. I didn't know what was going on, and I was screaming his name, and I stood at the top of our stairs, and he comes around the corner, and he's holding a handgun.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, my
So,
gosh.
of course,
What did you think at that time?
that he was going to shoot me, and my baby wouldn't make it out.
Yeah.
And I tried to keep my head level, and I went downstairs and tried to talk to him, and I wrestled the gun out of his hand, and I ran upstairs, and I threw it in the toilet, because the only thing I could think was, if water's in it, it might misfire. So the likelihood of it hurting me would be lower. It was a lot of stress.
You didn't think about hitting the front door and running out? I'm just asking that question.
In front of our stairs, where he was standing, was in front of the door. I couldn't have exited if I wanted to.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So there
Gotcha.
wasn't any exit for me.
Okay.
Okay. I tried to de-escalate the situation, and hug him, and be loving, because I did not know what to do. He took my car, he took my phone, and really, I had no way of getting out of that.
Okay.
So we ended up going to the hospital, 20 12 to 24 hours later. And I'm in the hospital with this man who has the support band on his wrist. Supposedly my support person.
Mm-hmm.
And all I could feel was that water over my face, laying in the hospital bed.
Oh my gosh. You okay, honey?
Yeah. Okay, it's really hard. What was supposed to be, thank you. Oh, that's okay. What was supposed to be this joyous occasion?
So your first pregnancy, your delivery of your baby girl, and you up there with someone that is like they say sleeping with the enemy, who's right there holding your hand, and he almost took your life, and nobody knows your baby life.
Infants.
Right.
My little girls.
Right.
Fortunately, we made it, and my daughter was healthy. She was real small, but she was healthy. But I was scared. And when we got home from the hospital, I was scared. I remember sitting there holding my baby, crying, thinking, I don't know what to do. Because here I am with this infant. And somebody who is volatile. Like, now I'm risking not only me, but her again, if I leave.
Mm-hmm.
And as a new mother, you got a lot going on. You have to try and keep, you're recovering. So it's not like I was physically, capable. You're very tired and you're nursing and,
you're nursing too. Wow.
Yeah, I was nursing my baby and trying to basically survive a traumatic event that traumatic. I mean, that's a life or death situation.
Right.
I was trying.
So what was he doing through all this time that you were going through all these emotional ups and downs? Did he ever come to you? Did he ever make you feel like he was sorry about the incident in the tub? Did he ever make you feel like he's happy that you're having his daughter? And what happened, sweetheart? I mean, you just took all that in yourself?
Yeah, because I had this little baby to take care of. He acted like nothing happened. He apologized. But that was just this verbal, like, I'm sorry.
Okay.
It wasn't like a, God, I need help. I can't believe that was the case.
Let's take us to the second incident. And how long ago was that from the first one?
After that, like a month later, his sister committed a murder-suicide. She killed her 2 children and herself.
Oh, wow.
And so, with that being the case, and he had brought a gun, I definitely was fearful of my life at that point and fearful of our daughters.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Did he ever threaten you with the gun? Or you just knew that it was there and it scared you? I mean,
I don't even know if it was a threat with the gun. It scared me.
Okay.
His response later, we went to therapy. I pushed family therapy, couples therapy. Went to therapy, and he would say that the gun wasn't loaded. And I told him, I said, I did not know that, and that gun will always be loaded to me.
Okay. Right. So how did that go with the couple therapy? Did it last long?
It did not last long. The therapist told him that he needed to get the guns out of the house. He refused. The second incident happened a little over a year later. I ended up calling the police. He slammed me into a door, blocking the exit for me to leave. He told me if I left with his child that he would kill me.
Oh, wow.
The police did not take this seriously. At that time, I did inform them about the previous incident because they asked me if there was any other incident. So I did tell them about that. Um, but they basically told me that I would have to press charges if I wanted to. Um, and then they left, and I left with my mom. My mother came and got me,
Okay.
and we left for about 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Um, and
But you returned back.
I did.
Okay. Tell us about that, because a lot of people leave and they come back. Why did you come back?
At the beginning, they show you this person who's kind and who's sweet, and it's all these good things that these people are, and you hold on thinking, we can work through this. I'm a therapist, I'm a fixer, so
Mm-hmm.
I obviously believe that people can work through their stuff, and we worked, and we went to therapy again.
Okay. Okay.
We went through probably 3 or 4 therapists over the course of
So
our
you were really
marriage.
trying.
I
You were
really
really
tried.
trying.
I really tried. A therapist told him he needed anger management, and then would see him independently. And that lasted 2 weeks. We had agreements about things that we would do if things got heated, and these are just the physically violent aspects of a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
There are incidents throughout our relationship where he would tear me down as a person and tell me what an awful human being I was, and tell me how screwed up I was because of this, that, and the other. And I realized later that he would like punish me with a silent treatment for asking him to help me with something, and basically taught me to not ask for anything and not do anything himself to help with anything. I mean, the only thing he did was mow the lawn. Nothing else would he do.
What about the daughter? The baby girl?
He would keep her during the day on his days off, but the only thing he supported was like his half of the bills for the household. I paid for diapers and the food and everything, clothes. He bought her one onesie once, and it was when she was newborn, and it was a Batman. I remember it because it's the one thing he bought her. He didn't buy her toys. He didn't buy her anything.
So let's get to now, because
Okay.
you did call and you did want help from the organization, and we did get a chance to speak to each other. And I can't say that was the best time ever for us, because you were in tears and you was just wondering why you were being treated this way. So let's just move a little bit fast forward. You got a protection order.
So I did, and I got a protection order because of an incident where he tried to strangle me with a computer cord. Yeah, that night I had set up this really beautiful date. I had handmade a tent. I got twinkly lights. I had a charcuterie board. I had all of these things. This is the middle of COVID. I had even gotten a heated blanket so that we wouldn't be cold when we were outside in the tent. Like, it was so nice. And we were dropping my daughter off at my parents' house, so that we could have a date. And he got mad because my mother didn't say hi to him. And in the car, he's screaming at me and telling me, like, all this awful stuff. And I was so just stunned because he knew we had this great date at home. And then when we went to go pick up food, he gave me the silent treatment. And he gave me the silent treatment the whole way home. We got home, and I went and changed, and he went and changed, and I went and sat outside in the tent for over an hour, and he did not come outside. So I started breaking it down, the tent, because he had to work the next day, and I was going to have to clean it up anyway, so I started breaking it down. And we started arguing because he was like, "Why are you breaking it down?" And one thing he would preach to our daughter is to be grateful. And I told him, I'm like, you preach gratefulness, and I'm trying. I put a lot of effort into this night, and you're not grateful. And I don't understand it. Like, I put my heart and soul into this, trying to give us something good, some good memories, some good one-on-one time.
Mm-hmm.
And he started screaming at me, and I was screaming at him. And I had my computer in my hand and a computer cord in my other. And I was standing on my stairs yelling. And I walked down to the kitchen. And he comes running at me. And I was screaming at him to stop and don't do it. And he got me in a headlock. And I was trying to struggle out of it because I couldn't really breathe. And we ended up on the floor, and I was trying to kick him off of me. And he grabbed the computer cord and pulled it around my throat.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, sweetie.
At some point, he let me up. And I knew that I had to be really calm. Because if I freaked out, I was afraid he was going to finish what he started. And I sat there walking back and forth trying to breathe and slow my breathing down.
And right now, I want you to just take a minute and just breathe a little bit. I want you to gather yourself. And if I could do anything about having some tissue, I don't have anything right now. But I think your story is compelling, and I feel your heart in it. So let's go back.
Well,
You didn't take a deep breath. Okay, blocking the door again.
Yeah. I was walking back and forth, and he was telling me why it was my fault of him doing this. He was blocking the door, and I stood there, my keys, my phone. I think it was my phone. I know my keys were there, and I was like, I need to go. Somehow I have to get out of this house. And I looked at him, and I said, I need to go to my car. Very calmly, and he just stood there, and I opened the door, and I left, and I went outside, and I immediately called 911. Nobody, I mean, it was...
Tell me about that call.
I was scared. I don't even know. All I remember was walking in my bare feet down the road.
Oh my gosh, what month was this, sweetheart?
This was in November.
Oh, wow, it's pretty
I was walking
cold.
Down the road, and I knew his chief was home. And I walked to his house, and I banged on the door. And his chief was like, "Who is it?" Really gruffly, I remember that. And I told him, and he opened the door, and I just kind of dropped to the floor.
Oh my gosh. Right now, you feeling so like
I feel
tell
all of
me.
the emotion that I felt there.
So the chief let you in.
Chief let me in, and when I was on the phone, I told the police that that's where I would be. The police, they called the captain. The chief called his captain, and the police arrived. It's kind of a blur what all happened. But
Did they take him in? Did he go? Was he arrested?
He was not arrested.
Why? What do you mean he was not arrested?
They basically were like, "Ma'am, we can arrest him if you want us to."
If you want us to. Did you have marks on your neck?
I never even saw a mirror. I don't even know. I don't even know if there were any marks to say that.
So no one took pictures of your body?
No one took pictures of my body. Nobody asked me really if I needed medical assistance. I was later informed by the Family Justice Center they could have taken pictures of my neck.
Of course, that's what I was asking.
Because there's bruising photography. Right, I did not know this.
Right.
They never even got in contact with him that night. He fled. He got in his car and he fled, and the police never contacted him that night. I asked the police officers, would I have to prove this? And they're like, yeah. And I said, is there proof? And they were like, what is the proof? But we can arrest him if you want. That's what they kept saying.
What is the proof?
The chief and the captain were there, so and they knew that he was a fireman.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So
well, we're gonna move a little faster because you did good. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I know that was hard, but I really appreciate that because to go in this is for everybody to just go raw. I mean, just hit it where it got to be hit because that's what domestic violence does. It doesn't pick a particular spot to hit someone. It goes all over. So now you're here, and you've seen the DA, and the DA took the DA that supposed to be helping you get to a better place in this situation of because you had to move with your daughter.
I did into a home that he is not aware of where I'm located.
Okay.
Because I'm afraid that he will come after me again. I got a restraining order against him. I did end up going and having a CT scan done to make sure that I didn't have any blood clots that could cause any stroking or anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to see an eye doctor because I had a potential hemorrhage in my eye. I now have a floater in my eye that I see everywhere. It's a big blot in my vision at all times.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And due to valsalvic pressure, which is what they call it when pressure is pulled, and pressure in your head. So now,
they didn't have that evidence before. They didn't have. So now all of this.
I gave this to the DA. I had an audio of the attack. I somehow my phone had called my friend. It was left on her voicemail. So I have like 40 seconds of audio of the attack. I have 2 audios of where he admits to doing this. Also admitted to the drowning. And I had a strangulation assessment done by a professional strangulation assessor at the Family Justice Center.
Okay.
And then the CT scan and the eye.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So all that evidence, you meet with the DA.
I met with the DA.
Okay.
Well, I initially had a detective who investigated, and he said that the DA wasn't taking the charges, even though he had all this evidence. He had one of the recordings of admittance, and then I sent him later the second recording, and all he said was, that sounds like the first recording. I have that in an email of him saying that. So I tried to push it further, and I was given the name of another detective and the assistant DA who apparently specializes in strangulations as well. And I took that to them, and I said, I'm afraid that because he's a fireman for our city, he's getting a pass. And the reason is, one, the police officers that night had put it on me. I did not know this strangulation was a felony, so it couldn't have been me pressing charges if I wanted to. Also, that those police officers did not write a report; they only made notes on the call. So there was not a report written. and then the detective, his tone towards me changed during his investigation after he spoke with the man I had married, my attacker.
Right.
And so I met with the DA, and the DA, who is supposed to be the advocate for the victims, she told me I sounded vindictive.
Well, let's just say you did a letter. You did a letter to the DA.
I did. I wrote a letter.
And is it okay for you to share that letter? Because I'm going to stop this just for a minute.
Sure.
So we can gather ourselves. And I would like for you to read that letter to the DA. And then we want to talk about what do you want? What would you like to see done? All right.